Hello everyone, I am Anita from Cybirdy, London, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Kelly Noll, the American author of A Day at the Track and other books for children. She is with us today for the launch of her first dystopia, A Second Revolution, the tale of a father who would do anything to put his family to safety. Let's get going. Why did you write A Second Revolution?
Well, I started out writing a story about motocross because my family is very heavily involved in the sport. Um, but along the way, another idea kind of took over. The topic of conspiracy theories came up. And along with that, I thought, what if these conspiracy theories would be true? And I took the two concepts and kind of merged them together, and a lot of imagination added in.
Your book echoes Civil War, the movie. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I did see the movie and I was captivated by the similar idea of regular, ordinary people thrown into a war zone. Um, in my story, it's a family of motocrossers that get caught up in a war and all the horrors that go along with it. So it is a bit similar to the movie in that regard.
Cool, thank you. Um, who was the inspiration for Jared, the main character?
Well, I would definitely have to say my husband would be the primary inspiration for the character of Jared. I'm also fortunate to be surrounded by other strong men in our circle of family and friends. And I would like to think that each one of them influenced my writing and are especially reflected in the main character. Um, my husband has shown me over and over again through our marriage all the ways that he has taken care of our family. He's a provider, a protector, and a confidant. Um, my friends and family around me are also men of great character. And I really don't know a single man like the fathers portrayed on modern TV shows and movies. And they're often not very smart or very weak in character. And I have yet to meet somebody like that. I'm very proud to be surrounded by good men, and I'm glad for their inspiration. And of course, the motocrossers that I know, well, they're very brave and very daring on the track, doing amazing things with incredible talent. And they might be a little crazy too. And so I tried to capture that spirit as well when making up my characters. Of course, I've taken lots of creative liberties, and um, my characters are usually composite characters taken from real life and my imagination.
Thank you. Um, how does it feel having your first novel out?
Well, it's very exciting. It's a dream come true, really. I've always enjoyed writing, and I have a lot of stories that I started. This one I was determined to finish to completion, and I shelved any other projects so that I could concentrate on this story. I joined a writers group who gave me very good critiques and helped prompt me to keep working on it and to finish. They were very invested in the story and drove me to complete it. So I have to thank the Lancaster County Writers Group for that. Um, I never imagined my book reaching other countries. It amazes me that somebody on the other side of the world could be touched by my story. So it's very exciting. Um, it was very interesting to work with a publishing company over in the UK. Um, Setting up the Zoom meetings that would work with both our schedules was a little tricky sometimes, but with modern technologies, thank goodness that worked out well. Um, it was a lot of fun working with everybody over there at Cybirdy and learning things about your country. Um, yeah.
Thank you. So your book represents a strong community and family values. Are you living in such circumstances?
I would say yes, absolutely to both of those things. I've been very blessed with the people around me. My extended family is supportive, and we're very fortunate that they're nearby. We run into each other all the time in the store or summer camp or out and about. Our friends are with us nearly every weekend at the motocross track that we own or at other events. It's a little hard to explain the bonds that form among that motocross community. Maybe it's the danger of the sport as well as the talent and the drive that the riders exhibit that connects us so strongly. We form very strong friendships with each other. Um, when each of my books came out, they all celebrated with me. And when we bought the motocross track we own, they threw a big celebration for us then too. When our cycle shop that we used to own burnt down, they were there for us then too. And they actually stood by us while it burned. So we are blessed immeasurably with the people in our lives.
Cool. And are you still working with kids?
Yes, in addition to owning and running a motocross track on the weekends, I'm an assistant director at a child care center. I taught preschool for over 25 years and moved into the office about 3 years ago. Um, in working with young children, I always tried to instill a love of reading and found that subject matter that they were interested in was always the best way to get them interested in reading. When my son was young, he wanted to read about a sport that he was passionate in, about motocross, but we couldn't find any books that really explained what the sport was about. So that was my inspiration for writing my 3 children's books about motocross.
Yeah, you're definitely a cool mom.
Thank you.
Regarding the Gadsden symbol, can you tell us about it?
Sure. The Gadsden symbol was a symbol used in the American Revolutionary War. When writing this book, I drew a lot of similarities to the American Revolutionary War, and I researched a lot of the symbols and stories from that time period. The Gadsden flag was one of those symbols, so I tried to incorporate as many of those things as I could in my story. The term lobsterbacks was a slang term for British soldiers in their red coats. So I thought it would be fun to create a similar name for the enemy guards in my book, and they called them the Black Bears because they were all black. I also drew a lot of inspiration from the stories of the Nazis in Germany in World War II for my elite guards because the Nazis seemed like they were everywhere all at once and could strike or knock on your door at any given moment. And I wanted that same terror to be felt by my characters.
So, how did you fit ordinary characters in such a dystopian world?
Well, ultimately, I wanted to put a regular American family into a very irregular situation and see what would happen. I wanted it to have strong characters like those around me and bring into it the sport of motocross. And I hope I was able to achieve my goals there.
Kelly, it's been a pleasure. And thank you for sharing your experience and inspirations with us. Your writing is exciting and feels like an extension of yourself. A Second Revolution is already hailed as heartbreaking, intense, and thrilling.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure to meet with you and chat with you today. Thank you.
If you have any questions and want to know more, reach on our social medias and get your copies at bookcybirdy.com or on Kindle Amazon. And don't forget, if you're curious and want to support artists and authors, buy books.